play Lucian if he gets the chance. Therefore, it could be a potential first pick for Celaver, who is an AD carry, where we often talk about how deep is his champion pool, actually.
Interesting they went for the Elise. They feel that obviously that's Jankos' strongest champion. Evelyn and Lucian have both been played by Jankos to great success, honestly, over the last few weeks. So, Jack's available. Will it get first pick? Do Roccat feel they've been maybe forced into this Jax pick in the top lane?
And the thing about Jax, he's still a very, very strong pick, but he's actually dropped down the list a bit. He's no longer just first pick every single game you have the chance. His early game has been touched a little bit by this patch, and therefore it's harder for him to farm because the sustain on Dawn's Blade and Blade of the Rune King has been nerfed. Still, strong pick.
Honestly, I mean, Xaxus has picked that in, but if anybody saw Zion Spartan playing Jax the other week in the North American LCS, they'd be thinking, we must take that away at the start because he was immense on that one. Ziggs and Lucian, though, very quickly locked in for Fnatic.
So we get the Lucian for Rekkles. Ziggs, of course, being a very strong pick for xPeke as well, pretty much throughout the entire split. Also, last split he liked to play it. And overall, when you just lock in Ziggs and Lucian, you already have a very safe comp, you have a lot of wave clear, and you can siege towers really well, and you have strong laners. We need to see if sOAZ up in his top lane wants to play Lulu, or Renekton maybe into this Jax to try and shut down Xaxus early on, make sure he won't get to his late game point.
We'll see whether that gets locked in. Of course, Rekkles on Lucian does put Celaver in a bit of a bind, and he's kind of the champion he likes to play. I wonder if he's going to fall back to Caitlyn. It has kind of been the counter in Europe. We do see Lucian currently hovered over. Roccat is the man there, where it's actually discussion with an admin, so I'm not sure what's going on. It's just simply deciding what champion they're going to pick in. Lulu is potentially going to be the choice. Will it be overPow that will play that one? It looks like it's going to locked in. It looks like he should
be.
Yeah.
Should be Lulu mid here for overPow. A bit of a hard lane for him early. He likes to play Lulu because she brings so much to the team fights. But we talked about it last week, how she's no longer lane bully. After you change to Q, you can no longer get 2 Qs of 1 E on the target. Therefore, she's more of a safe laner. You just want to farm as much as possible. So xPeke should have the control of the lane. We need to see if they want to go Caitlyn over Roccat against this Lucian pick from Rekkles here. Otherwise, he might just say, I'm perfectly happy. We go 2v2 in this bot lane here, go towards my Blade of the Rune King, and just become very strong. So
interesting one here. Thresh getting picked up for YellOwStaR. We've seen Nami almost the fallback and first support that they go towards once Morgana was taken away from him. But it seems YellOwStaR is going to favor Thresh. Of course, alongside him will be Evelyn. That's going to be the jungler for Cyanide.
Yeah, so no surprise jungle-wise. And Nami could have been an option here, especially because she provides sustain, which is so big now and so good in this in the early lanes. If this Zyra gets locked in, it's a very good pick against Thresh. Always been, because you do so much poke towards him. You can even put up a plant right in front of him when he tries to hook you, and he just hooks into the plant, and he won't be able to engage with you. So as long as you dodge around the hooks, you can just poke and poke and poke onto Thresh and Lucian, of course. So very strong bottom lane for Roccat here. Not sure if Fnatic want to try and lane swap away from it to make sure Rekkles can pick up the farm he wants and get towards his items.
And it'd be interesting to see how these two AD carries do itemize. We've seen Infinity Edge and Static Shift sort of shining through, but it's something that Rekkles does not believe in.
Yeah, he's one of the people who, I wouldn't say he hates it, but he dislikes the fact that your mid game is weaker when you build Infinity Edge into Static Shift, because again, you need time to build up, you need your third item, Last Whisper possibly, before you really become strong. And that's where Lucian fits him really well, because he can go Blade of the Rune King into Ghost Blade and just be so strong in the early and the mid game points, which is what he likes. And again, if you check his match history in solo queue, there's 9 wins in a row on Lucian with the exact same build. Blade of the Rune King, Ghost Blade, Infinity Edge every single time.
Wait. Wow.
Oh.
Okay, what is going on here? So as I talked about at the start, though, how he may pull something new out in this top lane. Will it be Ziggs or will it be Orianna up against the Jax?
So I know he played Ziggs yesterday against Maima in solo queue and destroyed him up in his top lane here. And it's going to be very, very hard for Xaxus to farm against him, because all the range poke. Of course, you can set up a gank fairly easy with Jax, and Lee Sin coming up, jump in with Jax with your counter strike, stun the Ziggs, and then Lee Sin comes in. He's very, very squishy, so you can kill him very fast before he can jump away. So we need to see how sOAZ want to play late. If you just want to push it over and over and over, just trying to deny as much farm from Xaxus as possible. But this does leave Fnatic without a real tank. Going into the team fights here, yes, Evelyn will build tanky, but it's not enough. She's not able to make sure people attack her straight up. I mean, Jax, when he gets Trinity Blade and then tank, you have to kill him in team fights, and he's going to be very tanky, otherwise he's going to kill you. Evelyn is not the same case. She'll be tanky, but she won't be able to kill people one-on-one by herself. Therefore, Fnatic without a real tank here might be something Roccat can take advantage of.
It's going to be a problem when Jax gets going, that's for sure. So, which lineup do you think has the advantage? Tweet #ROCWin or #FNCWin to @LOLEsports, and we'll see who you think came out ahead. And it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. We thought sOAZ may pull something out. Cast your mind back. If you're new to League of Legends, or if you're think yourself a veteran, go back to Season 1, the world champions Fnatic. Double AP comps in that top lane. Shuche on Gragas, it used to be in that top lane, who ironically is now in the meta.
Yep.
But we talked to sOAZ, but both you and me, we cornered him in the player lounge. We were like, what are you going to play? What are you going to play? Is there something new? Is it what's going to get pulled out in the top lane? If you look at his match history, you can't garner anything from that. But it is Ziggs in the top lane. So this is the first time we've seen it up there. I think in LCS history, I'm trying to cast my mind if anyone's played it now. I'm pretty sure they haven't.
I think it's the first time.
Yeah, I'm even trying to think if OGN have even played it up there as well.
No. So, exhaust on the swords in this top lane here. Of course, can be very strong in the one-on-one against Xaxus. Still, he needs to be careful because Roccat might put a lot of focus on trying to gank him, or if Roccat gets a lane swap, I want to see if he's going to run around with Cyanide trying to farm the jungle. Of course, he won't really be able to tank the minions because he's fairly squishy here early on. So his jungle potential in the 2v1 shouldn't be the best. And therefore, Roccat might look for lane swap now, even though they have a very good bot lane. I'm interested to see how Rockat's actually set himself up for this one as well. You can see he's got his flask on him as well, so whether he's actually runed specially for it. I'm going to double check his magic resist, see if he's pulled that out. He's only got 43 magic resist, so standard blues, I think, on him there. VandeR, though, going to get caught out potentially. Ooh, flashed out of the death sentence from YellOwStaR. That's immediately a pain point, and Cyanide may well focus on that bot line. At least Fnatic for now going in, putting up some wards, trying to see if they can spot where Roccat is moving and make sure they get sOAZ in this one-on-one with Xaxus. Unless they're just looking for him to get the lane swapped himself. We need to see if they can spot them out. For now, Rekkles is recalling, so it looks like he wants to go towards the top lane. So will it be a straight up 1v1 at the moment? As you said, he has recalled, he is going top, so it's going to be straight up meta. And that means, of course, that Rekkles and YellOwStaR are going to be up against Celaver and VandeR. It is, as you mentioned, potentially an advantage for Roccat in the early phases. Yeah, but now without the flash from VandeR, we might see Cyanide coming down early, trying to set something up with the lantern from YellOwStaR. For now, though, they're just looking towards the red, spotted by xPeke and then backing away. And just standard buffs, standard lanes. Good defensive duties there, though, from Pekk. Quickly stepping across, saying, yeah, I know you're going to come for this one. I know you want a delayed invade. You're not going to get it. Cyanide quickly warning him out. So Jankos starts off with the blue buff. sOAZ delays those first hits, of course, and this is really going to be a key lane to see how this one works out. Xaxus, I expect to be doing that very early on for a lot. Every time Leap Strike's available, jump on sOAZ's face. Yeah, also have the flask for some extra mana regen here, so should be able to jump sOAZ whenever he wants to, as long as he doesn't take too much poke every time he tries to go for a CS, because you see sOAZ is waiting for him every single time. Hit him once, try and land a bomb as well, get him as low as possible, but there's a lot of sustain on this Jax here early on with the flask and potions. Of course, if he waits for that passive every single 12 seconds, it's going to be coming up as he's got it right now. If he can throw that into Xaxus' face rather than a minion, it will do a lot more damage. Bottom lane, let's have a look at these two. They're both just hit level 2, no crazy aggression coming out from the pair. As expected, Fnatic are going to play this one defensively for the start, despite it being the Lucian Thresh combo. There we go, Xaxus once again jumps on sOAZ's head, counter-strike, leap strike, jump on him. But I tell you what, the return damage from sOAZ was pretty good. Yeah, it's a bit risky for him jumping in every single time, but he needs to try and get some poke onto sOAZ, otherwise he's just going to take so much damage, forced to go back early. You need to use teleport to get back to lane, and there's 240 seconds before he can do it again, so he just needs to pick up as much farm as he can for now, trying to sustain the best possible. And down this bottom lane here, Celaver and VandeR pushing the lane early on, which is one of the good things about Zyra. You can push a wave very easily. And we also see Jankos early on because he's expecting Cyanide to be down this bottom lane here due to no flash on VandeR, so he moves there early, even though there's of course no chance for him to actually get a kill because they're under the tower from the side of Fnatic. So basically just there for counter gank. Counteracting, seeing if they can keep them away. So talking about this, you talked about this early on. Celaver and VandeR obviously on Caitlyn and Zyra. What is it that makes them stronger in this early phase? You can see clearly they are. They're pushing both YellOwStaR and Rekkles back onto their tower. What is it that gives them the advantage in this early power spike? Well, both of them, first of all, have very long range on their poke, which is the big deal, so they can stand far away, land an auto tag onto the carry once he goes for the last hit, and you get some poke in your advantage, and Caitlyn, of course, has a net, so she's safe, and at the same time, her Q does a lot of damage early on here. Zyra is the same deal. You put up your plant, long range, no chance for YellOwStaR to actually do anything in return, and therefore you get a lot of free poke on the side of Fnatic, where they won't be able to return it back. They have to all in, pretty much onto the side of Roccat, which is very, very risky early on.
At the moment, this mid lane, we haven't had a chance to look at those two, Lulu and Orianna. Oh, again, Xaxus jumps onto sOAZ, launches himself away with that satchel charge. Jankos maybe having a look up here. If he can get caught out, he has got flash available, and that exhaust again, he gets leaped on. Xaxus putting some good damage down. Jankos cannot land that Sonic Wave. It was flashed out, sOAZ though, without flash, that's a danger in that top lane. Ziggs without flash is a problem.
Sana though moving towards this bottom lane here. Didn't get spotted by anything. VandeR still doesn't have flash. Should be able to go in here if YellOwStaR lands a hook.
Good counter because they knew that Jankos was in that top lane. They're going to go for VandeR. In comes Cyanide around the side. This could well be first blood. Who's going to go? It will be Cyanide that takes it. Puts some damage back on towards Celaver as well. The passive plant will land on Cyanide. He's taking a fair bit of punishment from Celaver as he escapes.
For YellOwStaR, didn't need to land the hook here. Just flash forward. Flayed instantly onto VandeR. Knew as long as I land my flay, he's gonna die no matter what here. So he had to use the flash from the side of YellOwStaR, but still picked up a kill. Rekkles now confirmed. YellOwStaR might have to go back though because he's fairly low.
Yes, standing on a trap as well, trying to back in the bush. The eyes, of course, giving full vision, and the minions interrupting his back. So, Xaxus in his top lane, 35 CS, has been back, got himself a Doran's Blade, as well, of course, sOAZ, who was forced back, goes for the triple Doran's Ring. This is something we've seen Ziggs doing in the mid lane, of course. overPow, I think it was, that did it last week. And it's something that sOAZ has done for many weeks back in spring.
Yeah, so the standard thing for Ziggs still is actually going towards the Fiends because you need the mana region. But up in this top lane here, there's no need for sOAZ to build defensive items in the start. Therefore, he might go towards a Morello Normicon and just focus on this lane dominance early. Doran's Ring, just do as much damage as possible in this early laning phase. And then, yeah, go Morello Normicon and just try and spam away on Xaxus. Leaves him fairly squishy, of course, and
he's in trouble here. He's going to get caught out, stunned, and now Xaxus tries to turn it around, but sOAZ again responds well, puts a lot of those basic attacks, jump back on him again, and he's continually in trouble. But sOAZ is trying to bait this one. Cyanide comes around, not too sure whether it was his spider senses or the fact that Pekk had left the mid lane that forced him to back away.
So a lot of damage being traded back and forth. Once again, Cyanide staying around. Jankos doing the exact same thing. They want to try and set something up. Remember, no flash on the side of sOAZ here. And we also, of course, have to remember he could have gone for the Fiends because Jax does do some magic damage. Could have used it, but still, probably not worth it here and just want to go full lane dominance and possibly a Morello Normicon as first item.
Well, it's going to be an Athenes for both of these mid laners, that's for sure. Pekk and overPow currently the votes standing at 81%, increasing from the 79 that you guys have been voting all week. So you guys still feel, despite the fact we see a Ziggs in the top lane and Orianna in the mid lane, that Fnatic are still going to take it. Of course, the Fnatic fan base, no doubt, out in force for this one. This first game of SuperWeek, 16 games, of course, for the European LCS, followed by another 16 from North America on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A jam-packed week of action.
For now, still only one kill here. Managed to kill VandeR in his bottom lane because he had to use the flash at level 1 once Fnatic engaged in, but everything else has been fairly quiet, of course, except for some action in his top lane. They keep jumping back and forth on each other. But his mid lane, basically just been a farm fest. And we actually saw this matchup last week where Froggen played Orianna, and where he said there, was it a 300 CS by 24 minutes or something? Just farmed away the entire game long against overPow actually on Lulu. Somewhere around there, keeping fairly even in CS.
Yeah, and one thing we didn't really highlight heavily at the start is the fact that obviously sOAZ did have to go with that exhaust. You talked about it. But Xaxus, of course, has teleport. So when this dragon fight comes around, it could be problematic. But of course, that Mega Inferno bomb that Ziggs has, his ultimate, can be thrown quite some distance. So it doesn't need to be exactly at the point of field if there was to be a fight from range.
Still also looking late game once Jax becomes really strong and can start split pushing. Fnatic don't have anyone who can go up there and actually hold him one-on-one. So they're going to be forced to group up as a team and look to siege down tower. Jankos going on Cyanide.
Cyanide caught out, kicked him back into overPow. overPow actually missed the glitter lance, and the shockwave pulls in there. And now they're going to try and come around. Jankos though gets on towards Cyanide. The ignite should be enough. Or is it? No, Pekk gets on towards Jankos. He goes down. Cyanide gets away with the chugging of health pots, I think it was, that made him save the day. And very well reacted from Fnatic once again. YellOwStaR coming up the river at a key moment.
Yeah, the fact that YellOwStaR joined in with his team here, turned the whole fight around, and then managed to pick up 1 kill, and Cyanide just flashing out in the very end. One more hit from Jankos, and he would have died. But he managed to get away here. Fnatic 2-0, looking good in gold. And also Dragon, of course, is still up here. No teams decide to go for it yet, even though it gives more gold here early on. But standard lanes normally means slower Dragons.
Well, bottom tower nevertheless goes to Roccat. The pressure from Celaver and VandeR was strong enough. Of course, Rekkles had to be a bit more passive because YellOwStaR was not there. He had to go and assist in that mid lane. It gave Roccat the advantage. So they do have that 1+ in their side. But currently they're down in gold. But I don't think they're going to worry too much about this one. It is still very, very close between them.
Fnatic really needs to make sure SuperWeek doesn't pick up too much farm. We quickly talked about it before the fight here with the teleport, the split pushing potential, and how Fnatic will be forced to go as 5 and siege down towers, because if they send one member up top lane to stop SuperWeek or just wave clear, he can just teleport down the other side of the map, join in with his team, and it's 5 versus 4, and therefore should be in favor of Roccat. So it could be very hard for Fnatic late game to deal with him. And they need to shut him down because he's farming really well, keeping even with swords now. Yeah,
keeping even. Meanwhile, down this bottom lane, it is a slight advantage for Rekkles. I want to keep talking about this lane. They're now both at level 7. And of course, the item disparity will start to show. We see the BF sword from Celaver, but of course, Bilgewater Cutlass going in towards that play of the ranking for Rekkles. Who is now stronger at level 7? Well, if VandeR's going to be joining, it's definitely Roccat.
Well, so basically, normally when you talk about Infinitech and BF sword early, it's a bit like a wave. Because early on the wave goes up, when you get the BF sword you're actually strong, but then you go down in the mid game once you have to complete your Infinitech, your static shift, and your third item. Jankos missing the Q, nothing happening there. But then you go a little bit down in the mid lane, or in the mid game, where of course Lucian will go up because of his blade and his ghost blade here. But then late game, once again, Caitlyn will go up, outscale the Lucian, and be very, very strong, especially with Infinitech and Static Shift as the first few items here. So Celaver, at the moment, with the BF sword, should be stronger than Rekkles because he didn't complete Blade of Druid King yet. Once he completed, he will be the stronger for some minutes at least.
That may well be at a key moment. Cyanide still lingering in this bottom lane. He's actually been hanging around for a long time, losing the experience. Jankos, meanwhile, the moment he missed that Sonic Wave, went straight back to his jungle to keep that farm going. Cyanide now doing the same. You know, talking about the late game, everything going on, Orianna in the mid is a pretty late game champion. You're not really going to do much until you have those items. I guess you could say the same for Ziggs as well.
Well, both of them are in the situation where they're strong laners, and then mid-game they need to farm up to the items and get to the late game point again. So yeah, they work a little bit like Caitlyn. In the case, early on you're strong, mid-game still need some items, late game you become very strong once again. So for xPeke in here in his mid lane, it's all about farming, and overPow, he's just a champion who's strong all around, brings a lot of utility, but doesn't have the same carry potential as an Orianna late game, and he needs to be careful.
No flash available, gets pulled in by the Sonic Wave. His wild growth should be enough to save the day. Jankos was there to safeguard if needed, but he just simply shields himself up and walks away. But that ultimate is down, as I mentioned, that flash not available. We'll see whether Cyanide takes another visit. He did use his ultimate there to try and get on towards him, wasn't enough.
And xPeke actually pulling ahead in CS now. They were even before, but now he's starting to pull ahead, and of course even further by the fact they could force overPow back to base. Get a few hits on his mid tower as well. Drop it down. If they get it down to about 50%, it's perfect, because then later on you can do a fast rotation into the mid lane and just easily take it down. That's also why YellOwStaR is joining in now, to just get down to his 50% point, back away.
One thing you talked about with Roccat, of course, having that... Oh, I tell you what, Cyanide caught out here. The kick is available. It doesn't matter. He's going to take the Lantern. YellOwStaR saves his bacon once again. The fact that if Xaxus split push and if he becomes strong, the problem is the Fnatic have very good wave clear. They have a Ziggs in there. They have an Orianna. And, of course, Rekkles with the Cologne. They can clear those waves no problem against anyone split pushing.
However, if they're not able to deal with SuperWeek other than just wave clearing, then he will slowly, over time, keep taking down the tower. And at some point, he will just dive onto the Ziggs or the Orianna, whoever is defending, and just kill them under the tower. So yeah, your wave clear is going to be nice for extending the game. But if you don't have anyone late game to deal with the SuperWeek, what's the point? I mean, you have to finish the game early on then.
Something I always love from those Thresh players is they do the fake. They throw the Lantern back and then walk towards the other support. It's like, I've got support, have you? But of course, he's just calling his bluff there. Bit of poker face between YellOwStaR and VandeR. And again, coming around the side, not going to get caught with the grasping root. These two supports going head-to-head, down parallel down this riverside. Meanwhile, Rekkles still yet to go back and complete that Bilgewater Cutlass. Celaver, he has gone back and got that pickaxe, so he's not too far away from that Infinity Edge.
Oh, and once you get Infinitech, we need to see if he wants to go for Phantom Dance or Static Shift as the next very important item. I know Kopi was talking about it in the LCS, how you need a crit item. You need to synergize with this Infinity here as your next item. Otherwise, you're simply going to be too weak for such a long time. So we need to see what he decides to build. And also, if Roccat want to put him in his mid lane after this laning phase is over, and he just sits there and farms forever until he has all the items he needs, and then he goes towards the team fights. Rekkles did complete his blade now, going towards the Ghost Blade as second item. So now he's really looking to start. He's looking to make some plays, and he's gonna be very strong in his mid game points.
Also, we have the Athenes completed by both sOAZ and Pekk, of course, overPow as well. Trinity Force not quite completed by Xaxus. Teleport was just used as well. And whether they're going to spot that one out, because Fnatic, they're making a move for Dragon now.
Dragon's still up a bit weird. Xaxus used the teleport, but he wanted to defend the tower, so he had to teleport top here. At least that's what Roccat was thinking. And Fnatic now, you just see sOAZ. He moved from this top lane instantly down towards the Dragon. It's going to be 5 members from Fnatic. They should be able to pick this one up.
And you can just throw that Mega Inferno Bomb into the top lane to stop Xaxus pushing the tower. So it could be a Dragon fort, but at the moment it's a 4v4 down in that river. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb. That's going to clear out most of that wave. He just leaves that single siege minion. Meanwhile, he can see Roccat coming back around there. sOAZ is going to join him. No teleport available. Xaxus having to make tracks down that river. There's the Scrying Orb going down. VandeR caught out a little bit by Pekk. And Roccat, they're going to have to give up on this one. It's a Dragon. Well fought by Fnatic.
Yeah, so we're pretty late into the game for the first Dragon, which meant Fnatic were tanky enough to just stay at the Dragon. They could even take some poke from Roccat, wouldn't be an issue. And with 5 members, of course, could take the first Dragon here. So because the teleport was used top lane, due to sOAZ pressuring the lane over and over, there was a Dragon. Oh, nice hook onto Celaver.
YellOwStaR going in for this one on the tower nonetheless. You can see Rekkles with it. Rekkles burning the flash to get the kill.
Beautiful.
But he gets it nevertheless, and that's going to be the tower as well for Fnatic.
Well, Zyra, no, VandeR actually backing away. Cyanide coming in as well here, so should be the tower. Beautiful setup. Walking straight from Dragon, just lands to go over the wall. Rekkles comes in, don't even care about the tower. They knew VandeR wasn't nearby. A very nice kill here. Blade King was of course used by Rekkles. Still, 2v1, I don't think it was the items.
Are they going to come around? VandeR's got to be careful. He's got Cyanide coming around. He uses the Stranglethorns. That's a problem. Oh, YellOwStaR trying to flash hook there. Not landing it this time, and now he's in trouble. Flays Jankos back away, but takes a lot of punishment in this escape. Cyanide is still waiting on the wings. He's not going to join in, though, this time around. Roccat have defended that turret nicely.
Yeah, they managed to defend it. Everything was used by VandeR here, except for his Ignite. Had to use ult, put up double plants, just clear everything, and of course Jankos was there for backup. We actually do see up in his top lane here, sOAZ decided to build the Fiends. So the standard Ziggs thing, because you need the mana regen. Still, the triple Dorans, simply because he wanted some early lane dominance to try and poke out Xaxus and deny him some farm.
So, as it stands, it's still Roccat with the advantage in turrets, but you can see Fnatic now that 3,000 gold lead. There's the first turret of the game for Fnatic, and it goes in the mid lane. It's an important one as well. overPow not able to hold that one out. The old lane bully that was Lulu losing out to Pekk's Orianna.
Yeah,
and losing out pretty big in terms of farm as well.
Yeah, they were even early on, but then Pekk simply just said, you know what, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm just going to start out-farming you, go to raves every single time I have the chance, pick up the rave camp. So of course some of the CS are from the small raves, which only give 5 gold, but still, it all counts. And we do actually see at this point, just to highlight, bot lane tower is very low for Roccat. Top lane tower as well is very low, because Fnatic have been pushing down these lanes over and over again. So they might look to just take one big route on the map. First top tower, go down bot tower, afterwards take it as well and get a big gold power spike.
Roccat looking to maybe tower dive onto sOAZ. He has got exhaust if he needs it. Throws the bomb, bouncing bomb into the bush, realizes that's clear. Now he's going to go straight into the second one, puts the ward down quickly, gets the hell out of there. Not going to stick around for that one, spots those two out. You know, maybe Pekk watched last week, saw the first of 300 record, maybe thought, maybe can I go for it? We're only 18:20. It's possible he's up to 240 already.
We'll still go for it, yeah.
It's 23 minutes, 22:50 maybe marker that sOAZ collected and started out. Maybe he's going to go for that record. He's starting to take a lot of wraiths.
Yeah, he should go to his wraith now then if he actually wants to stop walking around in this middle lane, not farming.
He's going for the enemy
wraiths
yeah.
instead. Pick up these wraiths. Get the small ones at least. No, come on.
He's going more interested in actually overPow, I think, which is probably the right thing to do. He does get the big wraith and the little wraith as well. He's going to leave that one for his opposite number, overPow. Meanwhile, sOAZ pushed pretty far up the lane here. Xaxus is thinking of going for this one. Mines go down, sOAZ just happy to back off again. Equal farm between these two. Mega Inferno Bomb going to clear out the wave, make sure his tower is safe for now. Trinity Force was picked up by Xaxus, and his teleport is available. Pekk, he may go for it, you know. It's 19 minutes, 250. He's going to go for the red buff here. We'll get the red buff as well. It's a good steal.
And I wonder if Fnatic wants to group here very, very shortly, simply because Ghostblade is almost completed on Rekkles. You already have death cap on the side of xPeke here, and you can start grouping early and just start pushing down the lanes, apply a lot of pressure. Because I wonder how this Ziggs and Orianna is going to work late game, teamfight-wise. If it's just looking to try and AoE, wombo, combo everything, or they're looking at you to never really straight-up teamfight, but just poke as much as possible. And once the target is low from Roccat, they might go for something. I'm not sure how they want to play it exactly, but if they do land the wombo combo, Orianna ult into Ziggs ult here, they will have a lot of AoE damage, of course, with Evelyn as well, putting down her ult in the start.
Well, Pekk is getting very close to this one. He's actually getting assistance because VandeR keeps throwing down plants, which is giving him a little help. He just went and picked his blue buff up as well. He's going to speed himself up. If he
didn't get the ward.
Didn't get the ward, but he's at 270 at 20 minutes. We'll see how this one continues. He's maybe thinking of going for a kill there to keep that record going. Rekkles down in this bottom lane on Celaver, putting the Cologne down, putting a lot of damage on towards him. That's going to force him well away from this tower. Jankos is going to try and land that Sonic Wave. Not going to happen. There's the tower for Rekkles.
So I got the first tower here. Still need the top tower up in this top lane, where it's down to about 40% HP. So if they quickly move Rekkles and maybe Cyanide up there, they should be able to take the tower fairly easily. Xaxus for now, just been farming as much as possible. Trinity Force will most likely look towards the Blaze Rune King, unless he wants some magic resist as the next item, maybe some tankiness, if he's looking to join in for some team fights.
2250, by the way, is the record that Pekk is aiming at right now. He's at 283. He's going to get himself another 4 here. He's going to have to go for the enemy raids, I feel,
go
if he's going to get it. But of course, the problem is Dragon is spawning in 20 seconds. That's
who needs the Dragon? Who needs the Dragon, man? It's all about the record.
287, there's the enemy raid. They're going for it. You can see, because YellOwStaR's helping him out this free step of the way. Mega Inferno Bomb again being used in that top lane, clearing out. Pekk continuing to chase his record. sOAZ caught out in the top lane now. Mine's going down. He does manage to satchel charge away. Out flash, but Jankos comes in and gets the kill.
Very, very nice setup here. Still, Dragon spawning. Only 2 members from Fnatic at it because xPeke and YellOwStaR running around farming in this mid lane here.
He's 2 CS away from the record, 21:30. I'm pretty sure Pekk is going to set a world record here.
Minions coming here.
4 minions in that mid lane. He needs a minion wave. Someone give him minions. The wraiths have spawned off the side. They can see YellOwStar's helping him. This is cheating. Top wave is going down. That's going to be the turret. The Dragon was picked up by Fnatic and we're now at 21:50. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, xPeke sets a world record for 300 CS inside. I think it was around about 21:57. I'd have to double check the replay on that one. I'm sure someone can confirm. Everybody out back watching it.
And he didn't even waste some time walking around this mid lane early on, man. Someone else can beat his record. For now though, Fnatic still need to be careful because they just lost the top tower. Xaxus managed to pick it up, traded it for the Dragon and a kill onto Jankos, and he is actually building towards the blade as second item. So once he completes it, he should be able to just jump sOAZ and pretty much destroy him in a matter of seconds.
I know we should point out, 260 CS at 22:33 is not bad for overPow.
Oh no.
But he's just being overshadowed by Pekk at the moment, who's on an absolute mission to get this farm on. And this is the problem. He's got 2,600 gold. He's going to go back. sOAZ is in trouble. Counter-Strike comes in. Jankos does not need the kick available. Maybe he will. He's going to come around. He's just going to keep him completely zoned out. And it's another kill. And this is a serious problem starting to develop in this top lane now.
We did see the idea from Fnatic, however. They're moving multiple members to this top lane because they want to get this last outer turret down and then start grouping up and start sieging down the next set of towers here, putting in some deep wards. But it was just a little bit too early. sOAZ were too far up in the lane. Jankos, no tower of course, could just walk straight up, join in with Xaxus, pick up another kill. Sadly for Roccat, 2 kills onto Jankos, 0 onto Xaxus for now.
So Rekkles and the rest of Fnatic all move into this final outer turret. It is going to fall, and I think Roccat are going to...
They can take mid tower though.
They could take mid tower, and you can see they're actually pinging it, quickly reacting to it. We do see the rest of Fnatic all moving in. Tower will go down. The question is, will they keep pushing?
Well, for now they can actually push, but sOAZ is very far away, so there could be 5 members from Roccat collapsing onto them, forcing a team fight. sOAZ won't be able to join. We need to see if they stay, push it down. They do have a minion wave. Celaver is running, coming all the way from this bot lane to try and join in.
21:52, confirmation of the record as Roccat close in on Fnatic. Death Sentence does not land that ball.
It's a good ball.
Used defensively, catches Xaxus nicely, slows him down. VandeR with a good Stranglethorn, grasping root on towards Pekk. He quickly gets pulled away, and Fnatic do back off. And while this is all happening, sOAZ, he's keeping pressure on the mid lane.
Just pushing down. overPow is there to clear it out. Fnatic staying in his top lane here. sOAZ now wants a piece of these Wraiths. Everyone wants to kill the Wraiths in this game. Fnatic keeping the pressure up. We need to remember, Lucian played the Rune King and Ghostblade, so he's very, very strong at this moment, where Caitlyn still needs her second item completed before she can even do anything.
Teleport behind them. Xaxus is coming around the backside of Fnatic. He's going to jump in, counter-strike. He's running a good play from YellOwStaR. Keeps him at bay. It does only catch on towards Pekk. Pekk himself goes out. Shockwave pulls in. Catches back on towards him. Mega Inferno Bomb lashes back on towards him as well. Jankos has to come away. Bouncing bombs rattling onto Roccat. But everybody escapes with their lives. overPow caught off at the side there. sOAZ comes in. YellOwStaar gets slowed down. Lantern gets thrown out just to keep him safe there. Can he land the dead sentence? Not going to happen. overPow speeds himself up, and not one person goes down.
Should be the tower though. Yeah, Fnatic managed to get the tower here. They disengage. Nice setup by Roccat, teleporting behind Fnatic, jumping in here. But the Wild Growth, it didn't hit anyone because YellOwStaR flayed SuperWeek away, so the Wild Growth missed. He only managed to stun Pekk, who then flashed afterwards, and everyone could disengage then from the side of Fnatic here. So beautiful play from YellOwStaR, making sure multiple members didn't get knocked up.
And look at that instant reaction. Fnatic take down an inner turret. They're taking all the outers. Roccat, we need vision. Quickly picking up 4 pink wards straight away. Red buff is going to get taken away. Jankos comes in. I think he actually secured it as well. I'm not too sure. I think I'm pretty sure that was his red buff. Smited it away. So Fnatic do not manage to steal that one away. So Fnatic currently, they have the advantage. They have the gold lead, they have the tower lead, and the kill lead. What are Roccat going to do to try and counteract this one? The Dragon will be up inside 2 minutes.
If they can manage to get engaged like they did before here, but doesn't get flayed away, so they land the Wild Growth comp with Jax jumping in first, they should be able to collapse onto Fnatic and pick up a kill or two, and therefore delay them from pushing down. But Fnatic showed good ability to disengage, and might just group up once again and try and do the same thing where they push down a wave. sOAZ could potentially stay in this mid lane, and they push down the side lane and go towards the next tower here. 2 towers already gone this top side, and they're obviously just looking to use the gold advantage they have to try and pick the right fight. Dragon, 1 minute and 14 seconds, so still some time before it spawns.
Looking at Xaxus' build, he is going full nuke mode. He's going to get that Blade of the Rune King next in there, so he's going to be a bit of a problem if he can get onto a target. And that's a big if, because there's a lot of protection coming out. The defensive ball, of course, from Pekk, the satchel charge from sOAZ to blow someone away, and of course, Rekkles is going to be pretty mobile with a Thresh in there. We saw it last time. Yep. Tried to jump in with a counter-strike, quickly got flayed away by YellOwStaR.
It's always been the issue for Jax. He's such a strong split pusher and in these 1v1 fights, but in team fights, it's very easy to kite him. Make sure once he jumps towards you, you knock him away, you stun him, you slow him, and then you just walk away from him. And he won't be able to use all his power, all his damage for anything in these fights here. So as long as Fnatic can disengage when SuperWeek jumps in, they should be able to control him unless he starts split pushing once again and get to his late game point.
We'll see how that power spike works between the two ADs. Celaver has completed that static shift now. Rekkles, of course, got the Youmuu's Ghostblade. But also, looking at the 2 APs of Pekk and sOAZ, have them death caps completed. Also avoid staff picked up by Pekk. Lots of damage on Fnatic's side. Roccat, of course, they're trying to get that spike out, but they're a little behind in builds right now because of that gold disadvantage they have. And Fnatic are going to try and use that bullying power to take this Dragon. You do see Xaxus jumping in there. Wild Growth used way too early, didn't knock anyone up. And that immediately is a Dragon for Fnatic.
Yeah, if Roccat missed the engage, just Xaxus jumping in, getting the Wild Growth, they will never be able to get onto Fnatic, and they can just kite them for days. So twice now they tried to do it, twice they missed it. Costed them a tower in this top lane, now cost Dragon as well. And they have to use ult to disengage from VandeR.
Yep, Stranglethorns from VandeR to keep them at bay. That may give Fnatic the power to push this mid lane. You can see the waves being picked up by Rekkles. He's clearing that one out. The rest of Fnatic are ready and waiting to stave them off the side there. sOAZ has got the clearance power to keep this wave clear. Rekkles has picked up the back wave, and Roccat are moving into defensive formation.
So they have some decent wave clear. Lulu, Zyra, and of course Caitlyn should be able to keep Fnatic away from the tower at least, but they just need to be very careful they don't get too much poke from the Ziggs, from Rekkles of course. And Zyra here clear the tower, still takes some damage because Rekkles moves in, gets the lantern, few hits, backs away.
Safe tower hits there. He almost got caught by a grasping rip there from VandeR. Quickly took the lantern the moment he saw it reeling towards him. Pink ward giving vision to Roccat actually. Mega Inferno Bomb going to clear out that top wave, and Fnatic, they can just keep pushing, and if they can secure both of the blue buffs, it's going to be a problem for Roccat.
We just see how important it is to get the auto turrets out of the way simply, because you can move into the enemy jungle safe. You can put deep wards, you can make sure you can always spot them. You can even get wards deep in the lanes, and you can see them move around into the entrance, into the jungle. And therefore you can just take buffs, you can move over to Dragon, to Baron, and be fairly safe that nobody from Roccat is waiting around. And therefore also just start sieging up, like we see here from Fnatic side, poking away, blue buff on the Ziggs. Non-stop poking now, who comes to Jankos, takes some poke, and this tower is so low. Unless Roccat engage onto Fnatic, then it's going to go down.
Well, they're looking to. overPow was sticking around the side for a long period of time. They're desperate to try and create something. Xaxus came in, but quickly the defensive ball from Pekk thrown across the side there. You will get slowed if you try and come this way, and immediately they have to disengage. So, middle inner turret going to Fnatic, now 5-3 in their favor. Rekkles caught a little bit out of position, going to try and clear that wave out. And you can see Roccat, they're trying to set up for it, but a good ping ward from Fnatic spots them out, spots the danger.
There's a lot of gold on Rekkles. He should be able to complete an Infinity Edge by now, unless he gets stopped here by Jankos. Going towards him.
He can kick him towards it. There's the ace in the hole. Kicks him on the wall, actually. That may well not be enough to slow him down. Rekkles going to try and get away from this one. Will flash away. He could be safe here. The Lantern's going to be available in just a second time. Quickly throws it out. There's the Lantern. There's the shockwave. Jankos gets pulled in. And sOAZ picks up the kill.
So another kill for Fnatic here. They might look to chase. xPeke coming in. Is very low on mana, however.
Oh, and he's caught out with the grasping root. VandeR's going to catch him. That will stop that attack dead in its tracks. And it will just be one. Good attempt by Roccat. They knew they could try and single out that AD champion. Xaxus is going to get himself some free time, though, on this inner turret, and he will take this down very quickly.
Should be able to get it here. Fnatic, though, coming into behind him. Are they going towards VandeR, or will they actually try and collapse onto Xaxus here? Cyanide moving up. Rekkles following as well.
Good counter play. Cyanide finds him, catches on towards him, immediately throws down that ultimate. Dodges out the way of the counter strike. Xaxus leaps in towards that pink ward that's been in that bush for a long time. Death sentence is a mile off on Xaxus there. They will clear out, you got to assume they're going to clear out that pink ward because he just leapt to it. So they will go for that one and clear it away. Roccat now in a precarious position because Baron is a possibility for Fnatic.
So they did manage to get mid tower here, only had to give up the life of Jankos, who of course tried to get a kill onto Rekkles, who dashed into the rest of his team. But still managed to get a mid tower. Very important for Roccat to get as much gold as possible. Because they are behind them, because Fnatic are using this very strong mid game
finally
to take all these towers, and they didn't actually take.
Did they not realize what Xaxus had jumped to? VandeR actually coming around YellOwStaR, trying to keep some vision in and around that Baron area. Roccat are coming in. Jankos very close, actually, going very aggressive, trying to single someone out. And while Pekk is not there, he was taking... Was he taking Dragon down the bottom there? No, he wasn't.
No,
that's not
farm in the bot lane. Farm in the bot lane. Roccat notice it, just move in towards the Baron, try and see if they can start a fight, but again, they lack some engage. They really do, because the 2 times they tried, denied completely. Xaxus never managed to get a stun on knock-up onto multiple Fnatic members, and they were able to disengage. Now they're looking for a fight, maybe. Look from YellOwStaR once again, missing. But they're staying around the Baron, trying to bait Roccat to come and face check them.
Yeah, back to vision denial for Fnatic as they clear out all the wards. Well, Roccat not really that interested. They're clearing the mid lane. Now the Baron is going to get started off. Scrying Orb being used by Celaver. That's going to uncover all of Fnatic. They have a vision for now. They're going to come around the side there. overPow will get spotted out. Pink ward in there. So Jankos has to go in. He gets knocked away. Tries to get in there. The smite doesn't happen. Gets caught out. Does manage to get away safe though. So it's currently a 1-for-0 to Roccat despite the Baron going across. Mega Inferno Bomb landing on Roccat. They have to back away from this one. They're looking to engage. Jumping. Counter-strike. Lands on 5 members. Pekk comes in. Shockwave does get himself a kill. And a Lantern from YellOwStaR pulls him to safety. Now Celaver caught out. He gets singled down. It's Rekkles that picks up the kill on that one. The rest of the team back away. And Fnatic are safe.
Perfect coordination by Fnatic here. Once Roccat fell, we can go in once again. We have 5 members alive here. They jump in, xPeke flash away, gets a kill, and then just takes the Lantern to safety. Beautiful play by Fnatic. Managed to pick up a 2nd kill, and now going towards this mid lane.
Can they push the inhibitor turret? That's the question. 17 seconds before Jankos comes up. Celaver not there. Wave clear going to be at a premium right now. They're going to push in. It's going to be YellOwStaR that will choose to tank this one out. They have the damage. That's going to be an inhibitor turret going down.
We'll at least get the tower. Will they go towards the next one? Still fairly low. Cyanide is very far away, so wise enough playing it safe and backing away. There's a way pushing out this bot lane. They can push into the tower at least, and then go back and shove. They should have quite some gold at this time after the Baron and everything. Let's just see the fight again here. Xaxus in the bush, he jumps in, actually managed to land the stun on multiple members here. Pekk flashing away, gets the kill, and then just takes the Lantern. YellOwStaR staying in the back, just throw out the Lantern, say, yeah, you know what, I've done my job, take it, I'm now the MVP.
Well, maybe he is. We'll see how that one works out. He's currently 0-0-5, so been involved in 90% of the kills so far. Another Dragon, 4 out of 4 now for Fnatic.
Bit of a different game from YellOwStaR. Last week when he played Thresh, he just landed hook after hook after hook, and everyone was like, oh, fantastic game, setting up so many fights. This game around is more about him actually using the Lantern and the Flay to make sure Roccat could never pick up kills. We didn't actually see him connect any hooks, or at least very few this game around. So it's been more he's playing the safe style, the disengage style.
It's a pretty slippery team to grab, to be fair to him. Obviously, overPow can speed himself up, jump out.
Oh, yeah, by no means saying it's bad. I mean, he's been playing his role pretty well. He's been there to save the team multiple times now.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation. Jankos and Celaver coming in. Rekkles out of position, gets caught out. He's got the Baron buff, but I don't think he's going to save him here. Kicked away, tries to turn it around. Good calling comes out. Ace in the hole will finish the job, and Celaver gets the kill. The rest of Fnatic, though, they're pushing in the mid. That's an exposed inhibitor.
Roccat needs to recall fast here. Standard once again, though, was in the base. So Fnatic actually not able to push. Only a few members. Rekkles being dead. Standard comes from the base here, and Roccat were there to defend. So they actually finally get a kill by ganking Rekkles in this bot lane here. Much needed kill, especially on the Celaver. Also picking up red buff, I believe.
Well, it should delay that Baron buffed up team. It looks like it is going to be enough to keep Fnatic away. That Baron, of course, will run off before they get back in here next time around. So Roccat safe for now, but they can see it's a 12,000 gold disadvantage to Roccat. And that is a serious problem, as the rest of Fnatic, well, you can see Pekk and sOAZ starting to build a giant amount of ability power. overPow actually keeping in track, but you can see he's a full item behind on Pekk right now. That's on his hourglass completed. Meanwhile, the AD carries, we were talking about them at the start of the show. You can see the builds right now. Big advantage for Rekkles. Got the Infinity Edge and the Last Whisper in there now, adding into that Ghost Blade and Blade of the Rune King. Meanwhile, full item behind for Celaver. And of course, as you can see between them, he's gone for the Static Shift and Last Whisper with the IE.
And this Orianna in the mid lane, because xPeke managed to pick up so much farm early, he never really had a weak point. He got the death cap very early on, straight into Void Staff, and then he was kind of over his, I need to build up towards death cap and Void Staff for my mid-game, somewhat weak point of Orianna. Actually got straight to the late game early on, so there was never a time where Roccat could say, we don't have to fear Orianna, we can tank the damage. Nope. Already from the first team fight, xPeke would do so much damage and be able to, I wouldn't even say one-shot someone like Celaver.
One thing that does surprise me, because Fnatic actually pushing in right now, is the lack of magic resistance from Roccat. They know they're up against the double AP team, yet only just now are the Negatron cloaks starting to be born.
Well, first of all, they need some offensive items in the start, otherwise they do no damage. I mean, Celaver doesn't have a choice. He needs to build towards damage in the start. xAxus was actually building towards split pushing, but because Fnatic grouped so early and started pushing their towers, he was forced to stay with the team, and therefore he's not really been able to use his Trinity Force and Blade to anything. It would have been better for him to go something like Trinity Force into tank, and then try and survive in these fights. Because he was forced to group so early, could never get the split push going, and also delayed his magic resist. They do have the Locket, which gives some magic resist to the team, but it's not enough.
Not enough. We'll see. Guardian Angel going to get picked up by xAxus soon. Still looking to land that big 5-man counter-strike. Everybody stacking up, but nevertheless, Inhibitor goes down, and Fnatic keep their advantage pushed in. Jankos needs to be careful. He's pushed deep in towards his bottom bush. He's waiting. He really wants to kick someone on. Can he land one of those magic moves? He lands onto sOAZ, gets the other side of him, kicks him back across the screen there. Jankos, though, takes all of the culling damage, and Roccat are in trouble now. VandeR's getting taken low. xAxus picked off. Fnatic just culling their way through this one. That's a double picked up by Rekkles and the tower.
Fnatic are so strong at this point. They're so far ahead in gold, and Roccat needed more time. They needed Celaver and xAxus to go to the real late game points before they could start winning these team fights. Fnatic, still 5 members alive, might go for the finish.
They're looking like they're going to go for the game here. They got the minions coming in that mid lane. Super minion is coming in as well. Fnatic going to push on through onto towards this one and start their SuperWeek off in style. That's going to be one Nexus turret going down. The second will follow. overPow, Celaver caught out. Wow! Just exploded right there. sOAZ is the man that comes on and gets the tower, but it was Rekkles that got the kill. The Nexus turret will fall, and Fnatic start off their SuperWeek in great style.
So while they didn't manage to shut down xAxus and late with the Ziggs pick from sOAZ, they really managed to group up early and just forced Jax into team fights, a point where he doesn't want to be, and then just take towers, again and again and again, poke away. Whenever someone from Roccat tried to engage, they disengaged, turned the fight around, picked up more objectives. I think Fnatic picked up every single dragon in this game here, so they just kept extending the lead. Yes, they didn't shut it down completely in the laning phase, but they didn't have to, because the mid-game, while grouping, because they got so much farm, especially on Orianna and on Rekkles on Lucian, was so strong.
445 farm at the end there by Pekk, and let's not forget, 2152, the record for 300 minions taken down by Pekk. See, he's throwing the gauntlet out, I feel, and I've noticed, obviously, you can just look at the last 2 weeks that the mid laners have suddenly picked up. We can take Wraith again, guys.
Yeah,
we can take Wraith again. And suddenly everybody's starting to go for those records. We'll see how long it stands. It may well fall. Nevertheless, he did have a bit of help from YellOwStaR, that's for sure.
True.
And of course, the plants from VandeR were assisting him on the way. So very well played. Fnatic overall, fantastic performance. Fantasy points ahoy for everyone, I think, in that one, because they just farmed the point fake to victory. It was only 10-4, wasn't a lot of kills overall, but
too much.
They got all the objectives.
So if you have Fnatic as a team, of course, he's going to give a lot of points because they picked up all these objectives. Towers, you have Fnatic. I can see your big smile here. I have sOAZ, who didn't actually pick up more than 1 kill this game. So obviously, that doesn't give too much.
Don't be too salty.
He was very good last week, however, and I managed to beat Jet.
You did. You did. He mentioned it in the pre-show as well. I actually didn't mention it.